spread of the COVID-19 virus, Ku-ring-gai local planning panel meetings may be held using conferencing technology until further notice. Today's meeting will be conducted over Zoom. Now, it's important any person speaking at a local planning panel meeting are advised that their voice and personal information, including name and address, will be recorded as part of the meeting and made publicly available on Council's website via live stream and on-demand access, except any part of the meeting that it's held in closed session. And I will advise there will be a closed session at the end of this public meeting when the panel will make its formal decisions on the applications before it. Accordingly, you must ensure that your address to the panel is respectful and that you use appropriate language and refrain from making any defamatory statements or discriminatory comments. Ku-ring-gai Council does not accept any liability for statements, comments or actions taken by individuals during a meeting of Ku-ring-gai local planning panel, and people connecting to this meeting by conferencing technology are reminded that under the Local Government Act 1993, the recording of meetings by a member of the public using any electronic recording device, including a mobile phone or video camera, is not permitted. Any person found recording without the permission of the Council may be expelled from the meeting. Some points to note. On-demand viewing of each planning panel meeting will be available until the holding of the subsequent meeting. And recordings of the panel meetings are copyright protected and cannot be reused or reproduced without the approval from the Council. Now, going into the order of business, first thing I call for is apologies. I don't believe there are any apologies. Can the panel members each mention no apologies?
No apologies.
Thank you.
No apologies.
Thank you, and I'll introduce the panel. My name is John Hoffman. I'm the chair of the panel, and I'll ask each panel member to briefly describe their experience so that those people who haven't attended before know the level of expertise the panel brings to these decisions. My experience has been 14 years as a Commissioner of the Land and Environment Court of New South Wales, presiding over decisions very similar to those that come before the Ku-ring-gai local planning panel. Since that time, I have presided as chair of 2 other planning panels, and I've been a member of even 2 more. So I'm fairly used to the way these things are run. Prior to being a commissioner of the court, I was a founding director of a multidisciplinary practice in architecture, town planning and landscape architecture. And prior to that, I was Chief Town Planner of a sub-region of New South Wales. Can I ask Sandra Robertson, one of the expert panel members, to briefly introduce herself?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm a consultant town planner. I've been in that role for 30 years. I sit on this Ku-ring-gai panel. I also sit on the Waverley, Wallara and North Sydney planning panels.
Thank you, Ms. Robinson. Can I ask Tony Blue to introduce himself?
Thanks, Chairman. My name's Tony Blue. I'm a registered planner with the Planning Institute of Australia. Have 39 years experience as a town planner, 25 as an employee of local government, and the past 14 years as a consultant contractor for my own business.
Thank you, Mr. Blue. And now Frank Coe. Frank, you're the community member.
Yeah, good afternoon. Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Frank Coe. I'm the community representatives. I've been a resident in Ku-ring-gai local government area for over 20 years, and I'm also a qualified and practicing town planner. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Coe. Now that you know who the panel are, I have to ask them, do they have any declarations of interest in any of the matters before us today? Mr. Coe?
No.
Ms. Robinson?
I don't believe that it's conflict, but Mr. Chair, I wanted to advise you that item GB3, 1 Roxy Place, I am working with the architects, Alan Jack and Cottier, who prepared the drawings for that. It's a different team as far as I know nothing about this project, and I am not aware of the architects that work on it, but I just wanted to make you aware that I am working with Alan Jack and Cottier at the moment.
Thank you, Ms. Robinson. Now, if you had had a direct implication, of course, you would not be able to participate with the panel on this matter, but from what you've described to me, I see no reason why you would have a conflict of interest in this matter, and therefore I rule accordingly. But your note will be on your declaration stating that you have no conflict. Thank you. Now, Mr. Blue.
No, I have no conflict of interest in any of the matters.
All right, thank you very much. Can I ask the council staff if they have any conflict of interest?
No.
No, thank you. Now, that's Mr. Stuart Wilson, who is the assessment officer of one of the matters before us today. He's in the picture. There are other council officers present, and I take it none of them have conflicts of interest either. That's right. All right, thank you. Now, today we have nobody listed to speak specifically, although we do have representing on item GB4, which is 28 Katina Street, Turramurra. I have listed Sinead Harmon. Are you present, Ms. Harmon? Hello, Ms. Harmon. Are you there? Look, I'll come back to that.
She's connecting to audio now.
All right. Now, I'll advise, whilst she's coming back online, speakers have 3 minutes, if there are speakers, with a warning bell of 30 seconds remaining. Speakers will be heard in the following order: objectors, legal representatives, and the applicant. That gives the applicant a chance to respond to the matters previously meant. Now, I think because we've only got Ms. Harmon present, we'll just proceed to the single item that is before the panel in the public meeting today. And that's item GB4, 28 Katina Street, Turramurra, which is the demolition of an existing structure and construction of a new dwelling, pool, landscaping and associated works, which is integrated development because of the Department of Primary Industries, water under Section 91 of the Water Management Act 2000. This latter description is related to the waterway that is at the rear of this property, and it passes along the back of the rear of number 26 Katina Street and number 30 Katina Street. Now, in regard to this matter, the panel members have had an opportunity to at least view the site from the street. I myself went into the property with the consent of the owners and observed the property all the way to the creek at the rear, as well as observing numbers 28 and 30 as I could see them from the subject site and how I can best understand the reports that are before us and the submissions. There are a number of objections from the neighbours at 28 and 30, and these have been considered in detail by the council officers reporting on the matter. And indeed, I'd like to note that the initial proposal for the site was a fairly different design. It was flat roofed, whereas the consultations with the council have resulted in a 2-storey hip roof development for a house, and it has been the subject of the detailed report before us today. The panel has been able to consider the reports and the drawings before us, and we did have a question for the applicant. Are you there now, Ms. Harmon?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, thank you. We thought we lost you. Could you hear us during what I've just said?
Yes, I have.
Good. Now, the question that we have is in regard to privacy for number 28 and number 30 in 2 locations. One being from the media room of the proposed house, and the other one being from the elevated stair landing from the laundry. The laundry overlooks number 30 and the media room overlooks number 28, probably at a height that's above, slightly above the fence height. Now, I don't know if we can put the extra conditions that we wanted up on the screen, but I can probably describe them to you. The panel is considering it would add to condition 8, I think it is, that we would require in the case of the media room to either have translucent or obscured glass up to a height of 1.6 metres above the floor level in the windows and the door in order to preserve privacy for number 28. And in the case of the laundry stair landing, a privacy screen erected next to the balustrade of the exit stair from the laundry up to a height of 1.6 metres above the floor of the landing. Do you have any comments to make about that proposal?
I believe that would be acceptable for our clients. Obviously, the laundry isn't a high traffic use or a habitable room. So certainly the media room, that would be fine to have translucent glazing up to 1.6. And yes, if a privacy screen needs to be added to the stairs, I believe that would be fine also.
Yes. Well, just regarding the stairs, and see when you come out onto the landing, you'd be directly overlooking, I think, a large stairway window in number 30.
Yes.
So I thought it was important to prevent direct viewing in that location.
Yes, okay, yes, understand.
We've got the draft condition up on the screen now. Can you see that?
Yes.
Condition 8.
I can.
Second and third bullet points.
Yes, that looks fine.
Okay, thank you. Now I'll ask the panel members, do you have any further questions about the application or any observations you wish to make, having considered the report?
I have nothing, Mr. Chair, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Robertson.
I have nothing either. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Blue. Mr. Coe?
No further concerns from me, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Coe. All right. Well, since we have no further questions on the matter, I won't go through the detailed considerations in the report in regard to the concerns of the neighbours at 28 and 30, but I think that will be available on the council website, I believe. Yeah, the minutes will be online in about 48 hours' time. But I think all of their concerns were dealt with in great detail, and even further reports and documents required from the applicant and verified in the recommendations that were made. That being the case, this final decision on the application will be made in closed session at the end of this public meeting. And we do have 3 other matters to determine in that closed session that don't go into the public hearing. So thank you. That being the business that we conduct today in the public version of the meeting, can I thank the speakers and anybody who happens to be in the gallery for your comments, and I now close the meeting. The panel will retire to deliberate on the matters before us, and these decisions will be posted, as I said, within 48 hours on the council website. So I close this meeting of the Ku-ring-gai Local Planning Panel meeting of the 19th of October 2020.